If you feel like you're earning a great income, but you're still living paycheck to paycheck, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about a non-budget way of managing your finances. It's low maintenance, it's easy to keep up with, and it's going to give you a lot of flexibility on an ongoing basis. It's called flex budgeting. Let's dive in. Today, we're going to cover the 5 steps to getting started with flex budgeting. Step 1, categorize your expenses. The goal is to turn everything into a monthly amount. You will forget things the first time around. That's perfectly fine. The first category is your fixed expenses. These you pay monthly, and generally you can set them on auto pay. There are a couple different defining characteristics of these expenses. 1 is that you can set them on auto pay. 2, there is not a decision at the point of purchase. So you decide them up front and then you let it run its course. These include things like your mortgage or rent, maybe any childcare expenses, your utilities. Even though utilities more frequently fluctuate in amount from month to month, there's no decision and they can be placed on auto pay, so they count as a monthly number. 2, your flex expenses. This is the number that you're going to focus on from week to week, and there are a couple defining characteristics of this category. The first is that there is a decision at the point of purchase. So you are clicking when you're shopping online, or you're swiping a card when you're in a physical store. This is going to include things like your groceries, any sort of eating out, a Costco run, purchases from Amazon, anything that you have the ability to change from week to week and adjust as they go. It doesn't mean that you can just decide not to put gas in your car. Gas is going to be a flex expense, but it does mean that you're paying as you go and thinking about it in advance. This category also includes some of those less frequent expenses, but still you're swiping at the point of purchase. So that would be any medical copays, small gifts for one-time birthday parties that you're going to. We're going to cover large lump sum holiday expenses and gift giving in the next category. The third category is your non-monthly expenses. These also include an active decision at the point of purchase or in advance, but they are not happening on a monthly basis. Some of the expenses in this category include travel, large holiday expenses at the end of the year, non-monthly insurance premiums, and anything else that occurs on a non-monthly basis. To figure out your number for this group, you're going to add up all of these annual expenses and divide by 12 so that we're turning it into a monthly amount. And then as we get this system set up, you're going to pre-fund this with 6 months worth of these expenses. Step 2. This step is characterized by a lot more administrative work, so make sure that you have a computer on hand that's easy to use. We are going to build the structure of this system. It works best when you can do the work up front, and that allows you to focus on just that one number, which is your flex number, and we'll cover how that works in a little bit. To get started, you want to make sure that you have 3 bank accounts and 3 methods of payment, and we're going to match them up with the monthly, the flex, and the non-monthlies together. The monthly account is going to be your central hub. This is where you're going to receive direct deposits, receive payments, and from there, you allocate to where the money needs to go. As you're getting this set up, link your 3 bank accounts together so that you can move money as needed, and then make sure that you link the payment methods. If you have 3 separate credit or debit cards, then you link the credit card with its associated bank account. So you're going to have 3 bank accounts. If you don't already have these, go ahead and open additional bank accounts. Make sure that they're not a bank account that requires you to have direct deposits happening on a monthly basis or anything else in order to get it for free, because money's going to flow through each of these accounts very, very differently. So make sure that you have your 3 bank accounts and also 3 payment methods. This could be no fee credit cards or debit cards linked to these bank accounts that you have just established. And then we're going to work on setting up the web and the structure of these accounts so that they can talk to each other and you can manage this really seamlessly on an ongoing basis. Now, the bank account for your monthly expenses is going to be your primary hub. This is where you're going to send your direct deposit, set up any payments that you receive, they're all going to come into this first bank account because it's much easier to manage on your end from your bank than constantly adjusting where money is coming from if you're trying to establish money flows into your other accounts. So establish this monthly account as your main hub, and then make sure that you link this account with your other accounts. From there, you also want to make sure that your 3 payment methods, your credit or your debit cards, are linked to each of these individual accounts. In the next step, you're going to set up your auto payments and your transfers into a fixed payment method, flex payment method, and non-monthly payment method. Those are going to correspond with your 3 account types over here. The final step is in this non-monthly account, you're going to take that monthly number that you established in the last step, and you're going to put 6 months worth of non-monthly expenses into this account. From there, you have your structure in place and you're ready to rock and roll. Step 3, update your deposits and your monthly payment methods to match the expense types with where those expenses are happening. So this looks like logging into Amazon, Target, places that your payment methods are stored, and matching those up with the flex payment type. For your property taxes, non-monthly insurance premiums, update that auto payment method to this new payment method, which is for your non-monthly expenses. Update your mortgage or your rent to the monthly payment method or directly from this bank account if needed. And then make sure that your direct deposit is going into this monthly hub. Subscriptions that you have should be linked to your monthly payment method, even though you can pretty easily change these expenses whenever you want. Because it's on auto pay and because it's monthly, it goes in your monthly category. Step 4, find your flex number. This is the one number that you're going to focus on moving forward and allows you to remove a lot of the noise of traditional budgeting out of your brain. You're going to take that flex number that we determined back in step number 1. That's that middle category, things that have a decision at the point of purchase, whether that's online or in person. You're going to take that monthly number and you're going to divide by 4.3. What we're doing here is we're turning that monthly number into a weekly spend. From there, take that flex number, let's say it's $1,000, and you're going to go out and you're going to live your life. You're going to make all of these flex purchases on that middle flex spending payment method. And then you're going to log in every Friday and you're going to pay off that card down to a 0 balance. Then you get to start your weekend with a fresh set of flex money and you're going to go from there. Moving forward, what this looks like is, let's say your first week you did a big Costco run and you had to make a really large Amazon purchase. So your weekly spend came in at $1,200. So that's $200 more than the target flex number. What you're going to do then is you pay it off on Friday. You start the weekend with a fresh target for your flex. But now you're going to flex that number down and adjust it by how much over you were the previous week. So in the previous week, you spent $1,200. The target was $1,000. So for this second week, you're going to target $800. So because the flex expenses are ones that you make a decision at the point of purchase, you are able to adjust your expenses and get on top of your budgeting a lot more on a week-to-week basis than if you have a budget that's set for the whole entire month. So you're going to go about your life and you know that you have $800. So now you're starting to see that you can adjust your decisions and maybe you're going to a less expensive dinner or you're saving for later a couple items that you had in your cart because you're really trying to hit that $800 spend for this next week. So let's say the second week comes to a close and you have spent $750. So you came in $50 under your target. Moving into that third week, you get that extra $50 to spend. So instead of your baseline target of $1,000, you have $1,050 to spend. And so you go through your third week and then Friday you make a payment and then you're able to adjust. So instead of feeling like you start your month with a lot of cash and you're budgeting on a monthly basis and you got so much, and then you kind of like whittle away, and then 3 weeks into the month you're thinking, where did all of my money go and how am I going to make it through until my next paycheck? And really feeling that paycheck to paycheck crunch. By reviewing on a weekly basis and adjusting as you go, you're able to get on top of that and be in the driver's seat of your money without feeling like your money is running you. You earn a healthy income. You don't need to feel that paycheck to paycheck crunch. There generally is enough there to support your lifestyle and support your needs. And so this way really allows you to do that. And I want to backtrack because I recommend doing this on a Friday, making the payment on a Friday. Because if you pay on a Sunday or you pay on a Wednesday or another day of the week, you're going to get towards the end of your flex. And let's say you pay on a Sunday, you go about your whole week and you're spending Monday through Friday, and then it gets to the weekend and it's Saturday and you're feeling really pinched for cash. And then you're always going to feel like you're behind if you're not being more intentional at the beginning of the week. If you pay on Friday, you start the weekend with a fresh set of cash so that you're not going into the weekend feeling so tight and feeling like there's not a lot there. If you start on Sunday, you're going to likely run into that a bit more. And the problem isn't that you don't have enough cash. It's that you're starting your week on the wrong day. So do it on Friday leading into the weekend. If you work a non-traditional schedule, then adjust so that you're making your payments on leading into your days off, and then go from there. If you've done this for a couple months and you're realizing that you are always over that flex number, then it's probably time to revisit and determine if the number that you came up with in that first step is really reflecting all of your flex expenses. It's pretty common when people are first paying attention to their money that they underestimate how much they really are spending on groceries and spending on dining out. We tend to want to think that we're spending less than we really are. So it's quite normal to get started with this and realize that you're always over target and you need to dial it back. That's not a problem. That's also one of the benefits of this exercise, is that it really gives you clarity on what your real life spending is. And now you're going to start to connect the dots of why you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck when you earn such a great income. It's because your actual real life expenses to maintain your lifestyle are higher than you thought. At this point, you have a couple of options. You can adjust your lifestyle and decrease that flex number, and then really pay attention to that on an ongoing basis. Since your flex number includes a decision at the point of purchase, you can make those adjustments more easily. Or you can say, you know what? I really can dial back my spend, my eating out, my shopping, whatever it looks like. And because I have these other bigger goals that are more important than this ongoing spending that's happening without really thinking about it. I really want to save for retirement. I really want to save for my kids' education. I want to be retiring early. So hitting my savings goals is really more important than all of this fluff that's happening on an ongoing basis. So I'm really going to be intentional, and I need to think about it only on a week by week basis. The downstream effects of that are now you're going to have really clear numbers about how much you really can save. And when you're putting together a financial plan, you're going to be putting together a financial plan that you know that you can keep up with and that actually reflects the way that you live your life. So you're not going to get 3 years down the line and say, why am I so far off target from my savings goals and these things that I said were really important to me? You're using real life numbers, and you're getting really great concrete data to inform that long-term planning so that you can get to where you're trying to go. That's flex budgeting. If you're interested in more straightforward tutorials from a certified financial planner, hit the subscribe button to be notified when the next video comes out. Thanks. See you next time.